Hey guys, welcome back, welcome to my channel. I'm Morgan and today I'm doing my June 2024 reading wrap up. So in June I read 8 books. I feel like I had some good reads but also some mid reads, but I feel like mostly a lot of pretty good reads. Let's just dive right in. So first book I read in June was Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. Oh my gosh, obsessed with this book. So freaking good. It's a classic book, which kind of is always intimidating, I feel like, to start a classic book. But it was amazing and I just loved the characters so much. So it's about the March sisters, that's their last name. And there's 4 of them. There's Beth, Meg, Jo, and Amy. The oldest is Amy, then I think it's Jo. Or no, the oldest is Meg, then I think Jo, then Beth, then Amy, I'm pretty sure. So their father is basically in the war, like fighting in the war. They're left at home with their mother, and each of them has like their own little like flaw thing or whatever that they're trying to navigate and like work through, I guess. So they're in New England. It's during the Civil War, which their father's fighting in, like I said, and they kind of just like, I don't know, are just like living a life, and you get to like kind of like see what's going on and what they're learning as they like grow up as young girls, the problems that so many young girls face and like, I don't know, struggle with. I feel like it's such just like a good book. Like I just loved it, and it's so like cozy and like comforting to read, but also very like, I feel like it really helps you learn not to take things for granted, and like it just works through a lot of good lessons, I feel like, that can be applied to a lot of parts of life. And my favorite is Jo, even though I think that's like a basic, like a lot of people love Jo, but I do too. So the next book I read in June was Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. This one was a disappointment. I gave this book 2 stars. I did not like it, like really at all. I don't know why. Like I just feel like it wasn't written very well. Like I'm not trying to come at John Green. I loved Looking for Alaska and like some of his other books, but I feel like there was not good explanations of anything, like, and like really most of the book there really wasn't much going on. Like I don't really know what the plot was, just wasn't really there. And I thought there would be a lot more, like there's like this mystery thing going on. Literally I feel like the plot just did not focus on that at all. It was like I kind of forgot about it, and it was just kind of uneventful, kind of boring. And also the relationships like between the people, I feel like they could have been explained way better. I just didn't really understand how some of the characters connected. Like they really didn't dive deep enough into like the backstory of things. I don't know, I feel like it just wasn't explained very well. So many of the parts, like so many things just weren't explained very well, and it just wasn't for me. But basically the book is about this girl named Asa Holmes, I don't even know, and there's a disappearance of this billionaire Russell Pickett. That's like the mystery thing, and like they just barely even touch on that, I feel like. And there's like this reward at stake, so Asa and her friend Daisy are trying to like investigate and navigate the disappearance of this guy. And she actually knows the guy's son, Davis. She used to be friends with him. And like they barely talked about how they were friends or anything. Like it just didn't, I don't know, it could have been explained better, a lot of things. But and Asa like is struggling with this thing where she just constantly is spiraling in her thoughts, and she's kind of like a germaphobe, and like, what's that word for like when you just worry about getting like every sickness? I know there's a word for that. Oh, she's kind of like a hypochondriac, I guess that's what it's called. I don't even know. She just like has a lot of health anxiety. It makes it difficult for her to like focus and like form friendships and stuff. But I mean, I think it had some good like important like topics it brought up, but overall it just wasn't it for me. Next book I read was If I Stay by Gail Forman. This was a 3-star book for me. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't like amazing or anything. It's like kind of the same as the last one. Like the plot was just like, I don't really know like where we were going with it. It kind of, nothing really changed too much. It's about this girl named Mia. She gets in an accident with her whole family. She can't remember the accident, but she remembers after, like she can see her body being taken to the hospital. She's like living out of body basically. She's like trying to figure out whether or not she wants to continue living or not. She's like basically floating outside her body. She can see everything going on, but in reality she's like unconscious basically in a hospital bed. but she's like out of her body. She can see all her people, like her family members and friends, like coming to the hospital. Like she can see everything going on. She's not actually, like, I don't know how that's possible, but somehow. And she's basically trying to decide whether she wants to live or let herself go. It is very sad, very emotional, and she kind of like reflects on the past, reflects on what she still has to live for and all that. So I think it was like a good book, not like my absolute favorite, so it was fine though. This next book was a highly anticipated read for me. Like, I was so excited for this book. The book, first of all, it's If Only I Had Told Her by Laura Nolan, and it's the second book to If He Had Been With Me, and I gave it 4 stars, which was honestly very generous. 4 stars. Actually, no. Wait, I lied. So the book itself didn't fall flat for me, but one of the characters fell flat for me, and that character was Finney. If you've read If He Had Been With Me, then you know. Well, maybe you don't, but for me, I loved Finney. Oh my gosh, like, obsessed. Loved him. So this book is basically all the events from If He Had Been With Me, but told from Finney's point of view, or at least that's what I thought it was going to be. It actually wasn't really that. I mean, it kind of was. It kind of was. So it's broken up into 3 parts. First part is Finney, and it kind of like tells the story from his side, like I said, and you get to like see more of him, which ruined him for me. Like, I just don't like him anymore, unfortunately. So that was really disappointing. So that part was a very big letdown. But then the second part is about his friend Jack, and I didn't realize how close Jack was to Finney before I read this, but I love Jack now. Like, oh my gosh, that part literally made the book a 4 stars. Like, oh my gosh, so good. Love that part. I can't talk about it too much because I don't want to spoil anything from If He Had Been With Me, but I recommend reading both of these books, definitely. And then the third part is about Autumn, who's like the main character in If He Had Been With Me, and like everything's told from her perspective in that book. And then in this one, it's from Finney's perspective on the same thing. But yeah, it ends with Autumn, which that part was okay. That part was like good, but my favorite part was Jack. So, but I recommend If He Had Been With Me. It's one of my absolute favorites. And then this book was a pretty decent prequel, but didn't love Finney. Next book I read was 6 Truths and a Lie by Reem Shukeri. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. This was a 4-star read. I really liked this book, and this book definitely like got my emotions going. Oh my gosh, this one part was just like devastating. Just the whole thing is so good. Like, it was really good. It's about these 6 Muslim teenagers who are falsely accused of a deadly attack. They basically think they're terrorists and like that they attacked this beach during this 4th of July party. That it was like this MSA group was like holding this party for the 4th of July on the beach, and this like bomb or something blows up in the ocean. Like, I don't even know, an oil ring. It's an oil ring in the ocean, and it's like this big explosion. There's like these 6 teens that are just like in the wrong place at the wrong time, and they get accused of like being the ones that set off this oil ring, when in reality that is just not the case. And then it just turns into a whole like who did it, and like the cops are kind of trying to like pin everyone against each other and just trying to get someone to talk and like admit to what they did, even though deep down everyone knows they're innocent. It definitely shows how the court system, justice system is just completely messed up. And yeah, I really like this book though. Definitely recommend. Next, I read Love and Gelato by Jenna Evans Welch. I absolutely love this book. This was 4 stars for me, and it was so cute. It takes place in like Rome, Italy, which was like perfect summer read. Highly recommend for the summer. And it's basically about this girl named Lena, and she's spending the summer in Tuscany. Oh, it's Tuscany, Italy, but they go to Rome and stuff. She goes there because it's her mother's dying wish for her to spend a summer with her father, who she doesn't even really know at all. Like, she's never even met him in her 16 years of living. So she goes there, and she's a little hesitant because she's like, why has my father never been a part of my life for the first 16 years? Like, does he like not want to be? She goes there, she meets this guy Ren, who's like her neighbor or something, or he just like, I don't know, he meets her, he goes to her, he's gonna be going to her school in the fall if she stays. And then when she gets to Italy, her father has like this other woman that's like living there, and she has this like notebook from Lena's mom, and Lena like reads the notebook and she discovers that her mom has this big secret and everything. So then her and Ren kind of try to uncover the secret. They like travel all throughout Italy and like see all these like historical things and like really popular sites, and like she tries gelato, like all this stuff. Like I just want to go to Italy, try gelato, and fall in love. Like I love this book so much. The whole vibe of it, the setting, so good. Next book I read was Nosy Neighbors by Freya Sampson. I gave this a 3 stars. Wasn't my favorite, wasn't my least favorite. It was pretty good. I feel like all Freya Sampson's books are super just like cozy and like heartwarming. I don't know. I feel like the way she writes is just so like nice. Like I don't even know. Like all the characters are so like good people at their core, but then they have like, I don't know, they like get in their moods, but like deep down, you know they're good people. It's about these people who live in Shelley House, which is, they're gonna be renovating it and turning it into new apartments. And so all the tenants that are living there are like very upset by this because Shelley House has been around for so long and they don't want it to be destroyed. It's a big part of their community and everything. And so there's this woman, Dorothy Darling. She's 77, lives at this house, and she always is spying on her neighbors, but for a good reason, you find out. And then there's this girl named Kat who's 25, and she moves in there. And once they find out that the home is going to be getting destroyed, they like kind of join together, form an unlikely type of friendship, and are trying to save the house and everything. So overall, it's a very good book. I liked it, but not my absolute favorite. It was like a little like slow at some parts, a little uneventful, but it was still good. The last book I read, I actually own this one. This is the only one I actually have with me. 1984 by George Orwell. So I had to read this for my AP literature class I'm taking next year. We have to like write an essay and stuff, which I feel like when a book becomes assigned for school, it automatically is just like worse than if you were to just pick it up and read it. But this book wasn't my favorite. I gave it 3 stars. It wasn't as bad as I was expecting. My friend absolutely hated it, but I kind of liked it. Like, I think it was very interesting, and it definitely got a lot of emotion out of me. Like, I felt sick by the end. If you know, you know. Like, oh my gosh, I felt so sick at this one part. It's supposed to be like life during 1984, where Orwell wrote this, I think, in 1948, and he was trying to predict future, I guess, what he thought the government would turn into if it became totalitarian, and if like the government completely took control of everyone. And there's like these telescreens everywhere. They can like see your every action, your every thought, and if someone seems like they're trying to betray the government anyway, like show any sign that they might rebel, they immediately are like imprisoned or killed by the government. So you have to be very careful with what you say, what you do, how you act. And there's this, the main character is Winston Smith, and he's very like adamantly against this new government, but he obviously can't really show it or he'll be killed. So he thinks there's this like secret society called the Brotherhood that's like an underground society where they're like against Big Brother. Big Brother is the government, basically. It's like the Big Brother is watching, like he sees all. Yeah. Or is the government, I don't know if it's like the party, whatever it is. The party is like the government, something, I don't know. Yeah, it's just like very interesting for sure. And I enjoyed some parts. There was this one part that was like so boring, but I thought it was pretty good actually. It wasn't horrible. So those are all the books I read in June 2024. It was a pretty good month of reading. I feel like a little bit slow. Like once I started this book took me a bit to get through, but it was still a good month of reading. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I feel like I didn't really read that many like summery beach reads, but oh well. I still have some more summer left, so I'll have to get on that. But if you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, Girl Scouts.